with the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere, and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem, and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere, and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a 1-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He has moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem, and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem, and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere, and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a 1-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He has moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem, and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8-under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere, and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8-under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem, and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere, and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a 1-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He has moved on to 14 under par, 1 clear of Victor Hovland and 4 ahead of Harris English in 3rd. Finally, in boxing, Conor Benn says his priority is to have a WBC title clash with Ryan Garcia, but he has warned the American that other big names are also in the mix for his next fight. Benn, who signed a multi-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing recently and marked his debut for the promotional company by beating Regis Prograis last weekend, is now targeting a world title shot. But he won't, it seems, wait too long for Garcia. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sport headlines. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football as Coventry sealed their return to the Premier League after a 25-year absence after getting the point they needed away at Blackburn on Friday night. The match finished 1-1, but Coventry had to do it the hard way. Ryoya Morishita put Blackburn in front early in the second half, but Bobby Thomas got the leveller with 6 minutes remaining. And speaking after the match, Coventry boss Frank Lampard described his side's promotion as being special and unique. Coventry will now look to go on to seal the championship title. Elsewhere, and a couple of other lines to bring you from the world of football. First of all, Bournemouth are close to appointing Marco Rosa as the man to succeed Andoni Iraola in the Vitality Stadium hot seat. Iraola, of course, announced earlier this week he'll be leaving the club at the end of the season, and it looks like former Leipzig and Dortmund boss Rosa will be the man to take over. There is also a little bit of transfer news to bring you. Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer has dismissed speculation linking him with a move to Manchester United, saying he has no plans to leave Chelsea anytime soon. Chelsea and United will meet in the Premier League on Saturday night, one of 5 games taking place in the top flight. Elsewhere, and in Rugby League, there were 3 Super League matches that took place on Friday night. First of all, Leeds Rhinos moved to the top of the standings with a 56 points to 22 away success at Huddersfield Giants. Hull KR continued their return to form as well with an emphatic 46-0 win at Toulouse, whilst there was a first away win of the season as well for Lee Leopards. They edged past York Knights 18 points to 6. In Rugby Union, there was one match in the Gallagher Prem, and it ended in an emphatic victory for Bristol Bears, who beat Gloucester by 53 points to 12, running in 7 tries along the way to boost their hopes of making the playoffs. Elsewhere, and in golf, Matt Fitzpatrick ended day 2 of the RBC Heritage holding a one-shot lead following an 8 under par round of 63. He made 8 birdies and no bogeys in what was an impressive display. He's moved on to 40.
Manchester United, neither side in the best of form. The referee Michael Oliver's just checking one or two things. We're about to kick off. I'll bring in the team news if you didn't get it in just a moment. But myself, Rob Eddy and Tom Wilson taking you through this one. And with the prize at stake, this is such a big game, but neither side is in the best of form.
No, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, games between these two are often very, very exciting. I think made more exciting this evening by a couple of injuries and suspensions on either side as well, which means that they don't have their strongest 11s available in neither Manchester United nor Chelsea. But you're right, both these sides fighting for Champions League football. Chelsea coming into this in 6th, which is currently a Europa League spot. And you'd be thinking that the powers that be at Stamford Bridge will be certainly wanting better than that. Manchester United in a decent league position, aren't they? Just behind Villa now, just in front of Villa, coming into today. So in a good spot for Champions League, but we'll be hoping for at least a point, if not 3.
Yeah, of course, Manchester United beaten at home by Leeds United on Monday. Chelsea, of course, thumped by Manchester City 3-0. They did beat Port Vale 7-0, but that is their only victory in the last 7. And they haven't scored in their last 4 defeats. Of course, a couple of those games were against Paris Saint-Germain. But Everton, Newcastle, Manchester City have all beaten Chelsea recently. But Manchester United are on the road and they have been stronger at home, but beaten at Old Trafford. We'll see how it pans out. Chelsea have the early possession after the kick-off. If you didn't get the team news, 2 changes for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez back from a club-imposed suspension, and Liam Delap preferred up front to João Pedro. Andre Santos makes way for Fernandez. 4 changes for Manchester United. Brian Mbeumo is called back into the starting 11 for Amad Diallo. Kobbie Mainoo shrugged off whatever problem it was that made him miss the Leeds game. He replaces Manuel Ugarte. 2 changes at the back. Aidan Heaven and Diogo Dalot return. Looks as though Mazraoui is actually playing as a centre-back. Manchester United haven't had much of the ball yet, although Diogo Dalot is trying to change that. Foul by Caicedo. The referee was trying to play an advantage, and then Enzo Fernandez has just caught Cunha, but the referee, I think, had already blown for a free kick. It's a ball that's in the air, and Caicedo, as we've seen, is looking at the ball, but of course he didn't get there, and his shoulder hits the chest of Dalot. Free kick given. Yeah,
you could see that one coming, couldn't you? As soon as you realised Dalot was going to win the ball, Caicedo was going to get nowhere near it. Doesn't catch him in the face, sort of elbows him in the chest really, but there's a bit of whiplash as well because Dalot just sort of lands on his backside, doesn't support himself with his hands, his whole body just sort of flops on the ground. So you can see why he might be a little bit dazed from that, but it's not a head injury.
Yeah, there's no yellow card either, and it's a free kick, maybe 35 yards out, right channel, inside the width of the 18-yard box. Fernandez delivers it in towards the penalty spot, headed away by Fofana. Neto and Fernandez in the race for the ball. Fernandez gets there first, back inside to Mainoo. He's got time and space to cross, does, towards the far post. Important header from Fofana, then a slip from Delap, but that's actually allowed Gusto to bring it clear. Chased by Aidan Heaven, works it out to the right-hand side, and Esteban cutting in field. Poor pass from him, intercepted by Mainoo, and now Brian Mbeumo has it on the United left. Plays it forward to Sk in the box, closed down by Hato. He's forced out of the area, but he still has possession. Mainoo infield to Fernandez, and the blue shirt's getting back into position now. Dalot's pointing, slowed it right down. Manchester United have possession back on the halfway line. Mazraoui looking for an option, feeds it to Mbeumo, back out on the right hand side. Obviously played on the left just at the counter opportunity, which came to nothing, and United falls back into the Chelsea half in possession, but no real threat at the moment. Obviously these two played 2 red cards in the previous match of the season. Of course, a very early one for Robert Sanchez, and Cole Palmer was substituted in that game. He'll be looking to make an impression. Plenty of speculation about his future, given an underwhelming season by his lofty standards. He's in possession now, approaching the halfway line for Chelsea, and plays a ball down the channel. Delap's made the run. He's got in behind Aidan Heaven. He is onside. The blue shirts are arriving late. Far post. If the cross can come across, it can't. Aidan Heaven with an important challenge because there was an overlap far post, and it's just a corner.
Yeah, brilliant from Heaven. Just thinking about that back line you mentioned, it's Mazraoui who stepped in besides Aidan Heaven. It's not Luke Shaw, who has played centre half, of course, before for Manchester United and done well in that position. But it's Mazraoui alongside him. Liam Delap, I mean, if he comes into this game with any sort of confidence, he should be licking his lips, up against a young, albeit brilliant, central defender in Aidan Heaven and a defender who's not a centre-back. It's a pretty good opportunity to gain some confidence, but first test, it's gone Aidan Heaven's way.
Yeah, Casemiro, incidentally, it was the other red card from the earlier clash. Red cards have been a theme in recent Manchester United games, not just for them, for the opposing side as well. 5 in the last 8. And Chelsea are no stranger to seeing a man sent off. Will there be a red card today? No early chances in terms of shots at goal. But of course, if Liam Delap had looked up at that last attack, he could have just played it across the 6-yard box, because they were all arriving in blue. And the red was somewhat absent at that far post specifically. But Aidan Heaven got his challenge in. Chelsea back in possession on the halfway line. And just trying to probe away. Enzo Fernandez very deep at the moment. He's split in the 2 centre-backs as Hato collects left channel now. Manchester United not exactly putting a press on.
Well, Hato's another one, Rob, is not really a centre-back, is he? He can play there. He can also play left-back, has featured in central midfield as well. So Sesko, much like Delap, should be looking at these 2 centre-halves this evening and thinking, I can have a real go at them.
Hato under pressure from Mbemo and Šeško after the pass from Sanchez, but he does really well showing his composure. Ball is now up at the feet of Cole Palmer, who turns. It's a loose pass from him though, and Fernandez has it for Manchester United. Šeško turns on the half-turn 25-yarder, blocked at the edge of the box by Fofana, spins away. It's kept in by Santos, but Mbemo knocks it past Cucurella too far. It's gone behind for a corner kick, for a goal kick rather. And a potential opportunity. He's gone a begging. First shot of the game, ambitious, but Fofana got the block in. Šeško has done most of his recent scoring off the bench, but started the last couple of games.
Yeah, Palmer just giving the ball away there, Rob, as you mentioned, and Manchester United players reacted quite well, didn't they? They sort of immediately recognised the opportunity to try and go forward round the corner into Sesko. I don't think he's got many other options really other than to shoot, so I like the confidence from him.
Chelsea back in possession on the edge of their own box with Fofana, and although there's been quite a quick tempo in certain situations, obviously both sides happy to also try and knock it around. Long ball over the top from Enzo Fernandez is well controlled by Luke Shaw. Back to Lamens, who clears, quickly closed down by Cole Palmer. It is a clearance, it's going to bounce into the Chelsea half, and Hato has it under no real pressure. Again, Enzo Fernandez comes deep to collect. Cucurella, left-hand side, back to Fernandez. Do you think the recent suspension for Fernandez is having any bearing? Come back to that in a moment, because there's a bit of space on the right. If Esteval can keep it in, he can't. Enzo Fernandez, of course, suspended by his own club. The things he said in the media, but now back in the starting 11. Yeah,
I love the management from Liam Rosenior. I think it's really strong, isn't it, to not let him get away with that, but also not clearly not lost trust with the player either, because he's straight into the starting lineup immediately after that internal suspension's been served. So clearly there's a good working relationship there. As I understand it, Enzo Fernandez has apologised as well internally to anyone that he's sort of upset or frustrated by what he'd said. We'll have to sort of wait and see. It's only been 9 minutes so far, see how he sort of performs. Of course, he's been vital for Chelsea this season.
Neto down the left-hand side for the Blues. Back to Cucurella and the halfway line and Hato. Chelsea probably had the lion's share of possession in these early stages. Not too much in the opposing half as yet. Manchester United have kind of been playing on the counter. Obviously, early results today, just in case you didn't get them. Brentford, Fulham 0-0. Leeds backed up their win at Old Trafford with a 3-0 thumping of Wolves. Newcastle beaten by Bournemouth 2-1 at St James's, and of course Tottenham twice in front, but twice pegged back by Brighton. A goal in each stoppage time, cancelling out Spurs' advantage. Spurs still in the bottom 3. Chelsea and Manchester United, of course, at the other end of the table, fighting for points. 4 points. Chelsea are behind the top 5. Enzo Fernandez looks for a defence splitting ball. It's into Palmer. Challenge comes in from heaven. He's looking at the ball. It looks rather tentative. The referee has given a free kick. Heaven's trying to help Cole Palmer up. I'm sure VAR will have a look. Of course they will do. Great ball from Fernandez. Half a touch from Mainu, which I'm not sure which is the foul, if there is a foul. The slide came in. It's probably just outside the box.
Do you know what it is, Rob? I think sort of Shaw and Heaven, they've both sort of done half a foul on him. I don't think either are really enough for a penalty in themselves, but because they both come in at the same time, this is going to be a really interesting decision from VAR. It's Craig Taylor, by the way. The on-field referee is Michael Oliver. There was a really nervous look, though, from Aidan Heaven towards Michael Oliver. He sort of tentatively pointed at the ball, didn't he? He said, no, I've got the ball. But he didn't get the ball. But has he got enough of the man? He
hasn't got enough of the man, seemingly, according to VAR, because Michael Oliver was just waiting for instruction. I say he hasn't got enough of the man. He certainly didn't get any of the ball. I do think it was in the D, just outside the box rather than in it. But that could have been a decision going in Chelsea's favour. You wouldn't say it was a red card last man kind of challenge, but because Shaw's there as well. But he didn't get any of the ball. Yeah,
it muddies the waters because there's two there and they both put in a challenge, Rob. And as I say, I don't think either on their own are enough for a penalty if it is inside the area. So it's a really tricky one. It's almost unheard of, that sort of challenge.
Cole Palmer again, Chelsea on the front foot. Esteval cutting onto his left foot, shot, and it's gone just wide of the post. Lamens wasn't sure, diving across to his right. Esteval wants a corner kick. I think a goal kick's been given, judging by the reaction, but this couldn't have been too far away. It's arcing in, but it clipped the outside of the upright. Lamens can't get there. Chelsea so close.
Yeah, just needed a few more inches on it, didn't it, really? If it hits that from maybe a yard or two further back, further away from goal, it has that time to bounce and then spin towards goal. It is spinning and it is bouncing, it is going in. If it has enough trajectory on it, it just clips the outside of the post, though, because of the distance. Good effort, though, from Esteval.
Probably if he's a bit further out from a goal, a couple of yards, it's curling in off. Long ball from Manchester United, trying to get Mbemo in behind. He was the highest man up the field for the Red Devils. Didn't quite get between the two defenders that were covering him, Cucurella and Fofana. Fofana cushions a header back to Sanchez. And Chelsea back in possession. Just about 12 minutes gone at Stamford Bridge. Independent, unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea made the brightest start. Obviously just clipped an upright. Cole Palmer would be thinking he should have had a foul. And they're starting to boss possession, as I say that. Fofana just dwelt for a little bit too long. Almost tackled. That's a loose pass from Luke Shaw. And now Esteval is in behind down the right-hand side. Shaw's got back to recover. Shot tame on his weaker right foot. Easy save for Lamens. He did well initially, but then gave the ball away, Luke Shaw. Maybe Delap could have taken it on.
Yeah, potentially. I don't think he means to pass this, Rob. I think it's just a really heavy touch from Liam Delap, and it does fall for Esteval. He's clearly picked something up there. I don't think Shaw's fouled him. I think maybe he trod on the ground a little bit weirdly, a little bit uncomfortably. He stayed down as well, Esteval. I don't think it's a free kick. I don't think that's what he's asking for. I think there's just something that he's done to himself there almost.
Yeah, he's down. He's sat pretty much on the goal line, but in the field of play. Just stretching. Looked as though his left leg momentarily went. That's, of course, the position the moments when Shaw was able to get back and put him under pressure. Right-footed shot didn't carry the same danger as the left-footed shot that clipped the outside of the upright. This will be bad news for the neutrals. Obviously, Esteval was talked about as a bit of a starlet in the making, and he's looked lively in the early stages, so to lose him after 13 minutes would be a bit of a blow.
Yeah, well, Chelsea, you said they've sort of dominated possession really in the opening proceedings. Just had a stat flash across a couple of minutes ago. In the last 5 minutes, they've had 95%. And they haven't exactly done tons with it, but they have just sort of grown into the opening quarter of an hour, and Esteval's certainly doing that as well. It'd be a real blow if they lose him. I covered the game at 5:30 between Spurs and Brighton. There was an early injury in that one. Diego Gomez went off, Matoma came on, ended up being substituted himself, Matoma, in the second half due to an injury, but he actually scored a vital goal for Brighton in that one. So we might lose Esteval, but much like the 5:30 game, there's going to be a substitute that comes on that's hopefully going to impact the game.
Looks so it's an interesting one in the context of the game. It's Alejandro Garnacho, former United player, of course. He's got stripped. He did some loosening, stretching up and down the line, but he's since got stripped. Esteval's back on his feet, and he's walking back. I mean, he's a yard from the goal line, and eventually I think the officials have told him just to leave the field at that point. So it looks as though Chelsea are going to have to make this change, which would be a big blow for Chelsea. And of course, I did mention neutrals, obviously pacey, tricky winger. It's going to be replaced by another. Alejandro Garnacho usually plays on the left, so whether Neto will just swap to the right hand side, I imagine that will be the game plan. But the board is getting ready, so it looks as though Esteval will be replaced in a moment.
Yeah, again, it's nothing that Luke Shaw's done wrong to him. I haven't seen a replay of it, Rob, since maybe just about 30 seconds after it happened, so I'd love to have another view just to see exactly what's happened. But clearly he's maybe overstretched or just planted his foot wrong or something. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, he's not a bad player to bring off the bench, is he, Garnacho? I really liked him at Manchester United, particularly when he first broke through. He was a bit raw. It took him a little bit of time to sort of settle down. I thought he looked really dangerous whenever he picked the ball up in a red shirt. For Chelsea, not as much. I think for whatever reason, whether it's just the couple of managers that he's played under potentially, but he seems stunted a little bit. It seems like he's just been held back. He's sort of playing with the handbrake on a little bit.
He did, of course, score against Port Vale recently. Didn't get him a start against Manchester City. But now he's got an early introduction to this game. 0-0 with Chelsea just on top without necessarily overrunning Manchester United. Clipping the post, Esteval, a man who's been replaced. And of course he had a second chance, as we've just been talking about, which led to the injury. But unfortunately for Chelsea, he's done. Garnacho's come on. Neto still looks to be playing on the left for Chelsea. Garnacho on the right. And Luke Shaw's welcomed Garnacho to the action with a blatant push in the back. It is a Chelsea free kick inside their own half. And possession is just mounting. It's been a while since Manchester United had any clear possession of the ball. And Chelsea are just getting on top in that regard. You mentioned the last five was 90% possession. It's 65 over the course of 16-17 minutes. Chelsea through Neto on the attack down the left channel. Cucurella in support on the overlap. Manchester United back deep in defensive cover. Fernandez infield to Caicedo. He's in the centre circle. Again, no real press from Manchester United. Cole Palmer drops deep to try and get involved and finds Caicedo. Hato to his left. And Manchester United very deep without a press. That could be dangerous with a player like Cole Palmer pulling the strings for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez as well. But at the moment, it's 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. But possession is only going one way.
Yeah, I think it's obvious, though, from Manchester United that they've wanted to start the game not going gung-ho on the press.
Cole Palmer has it to Neto, dinks it in towards Garnacho on the slide, right channel. Can't quite control it. Can't blame Garnacho there. It was a ambitious pass attempted by Neto. I guess he's found his target, and again the space is out wide. There was that chance early doors where Delap didn't look across. Luke Shaw's got tucked in, and there was space for Garnacho.
Yeah, I thought it was a smart ball over the top there to Garnacho. Just can't get on the end of it. By all accounts, by the way, when he was coming on, he was booed by the travelling Manchester United fans. Probably no real surprise to hear that, though, is there?
Heaven brings it clear from the goal kick. He eludes the attentions of Garnacho. He's still being hounded by Delap and goes down under a bit of pressure, approaching the halfway line.
It's Mickey van der Ven-esque there, wasn't it, Rob, from Heaven?
Yeah, of course, Heaven's starting today in place of the suspended Alessandro Martinez. Was Harry Maguire suspended too? Mazraoui, his partnership, centre-back partnership, could have been Luke Shaw. Michael Carrick has opted with Mazraoui. Manchester United have a bit of the ball, but that's asking too much of Fernandez, and his headed pass on the stretch can't find a teammate. Although Neto too desperate to get it forward. Cunha has barely had a touch under pressure. Luke Shaw mops up behind. Garnacho will give chase, but Lamens clears downfield with 19 minutes ticking over at Stamford Bridge. Hopeful ball forward for Fernandez. And Bemo has made the run though and gets there ahead of Gusto. Now it's with Cunha and Bamo, same side left. Attack for Manchester United. Cunha infield to Casemiro. Turns away from danger. Mazraoui up in support. Manchester United are having a little bit of possession. Cunha tries a little flick pass, doesn't beat the wall of blue. Chelsea have it back with Kobe Mainoo trying to put Cole Palmer under pressure. Curried clearance from Gusto, blocked by Mbemo into touch. But something of a response for Manchester United.
Yeah, as I was saying before, I don't think Michael Carrick wants his side to kill themselves trying to press for the ball back. This Chelsea team are too good with it at their feet, and of course at home as well. United don't really need to risk it, but they have picked their moments, and that was one of them. Down the right hand side, seemed to move the ball quite quickly between the players, just couldn't really create that opening. As I say, Cunha tried to flick it around the corner. Been a quiet start from him. He's seen the ball a couple of times already, but not really been at his best. There's a free kick there. Heaven concedes it.
It's obviously Chelsea back in possession. Heaven didn't really need to make the challenge, but he did, right on the touchline. Could have easily jockeyed that one into touch. But he's given away the free kick, and that just might catch Michael Oliver's attention. Chelsea back in possession, going from left to right across their back line, and then Gusto's attempt down the line is blocked by Cunha. It's going to go all the way behind for a goal kick, though, to Chelsea. Just a quick look at Garnacho's scoring. Not a bad return in the sense that he's got 8 goals, but 7 of those have come in cup competitions. Chelsea are now under a little bit of pressure, something of a press from Manchester United, but they work it well to Garnacho, although they're going backwards to Gusto, Fofana, and now Sanchez, who's closed down by Fernandez. Sanchez clips it over to Cucurella, helps it down the line. Neto tries to return it to Cucurella. Dalot beats him to the ball. Dalot's gone down, milking the contact. Didn't look massive problem for Dalot under the tackle from Cucurella. It is a free kick according to Michael Oliver, halfway inside the Chelsea half. Maybe he trod on his boot rather than kicking his foot. I think when he landed Cucurella, he's trod on the Dalot foot more than anything. And a set piece chance, we haven't had many in the game.
We haven't, no, we haven't really seen many opportunities for the ball to go into the area for Manchester United either, have we? It's a late one from Cucurella, as you mentioned. It's not overly vicious or aggressive, but it's just the Manchester United player that gets there first, and this is it's an interesting position. It's maybe a little bit further out than United would have wanted as their sort of optimal crossing position. Bruno Fernandes is certainly capable of causing some danger here. There have been 17 assists in one Premier League season, with of course 5 games to go after this. It's unbelievable numbers.
Fernandes, of course, stood over it. There's 3 or 4 Manchester United players offside at the moment. The expectation is the Chelsea rearguard will retreat. This time it's not the best delivery from Fernandes because it doesn't beat the defence at the ahead of the attack, if that makes sense. Doesn't reach the red shirts, headed away. Fernandes plays it safe by hooking the ball back to Lamens. He was being closed down, so didn't really have space to work with. He's in the right back position at the moment, Bruno Fernandes. Looking a little bit disconsolate. I don't know what he's expecting ahead of him in these early exchanges. Mazraoui to Fernandes, to Casemiro, forward to Šeško on the halfway line. Fernandes takes over, ball clipped out to the right, will reach Mbemo despite a slight deflection from Enzo Fernandez, but United possession slowed down with momentum at least. They're stringing 1 or 2 together until, of course, I say that, and then Dalot gives it away. Cucurella, he gives it away himself to Casemiro on the halfway line. Fernandes plays it down the channel. Fofana's got the pace to get ahead of Šeško. Shepherds it behind, and it will be a goal kick to Chelsea. Passing the halfway point in the first period. Chelsea have had the better of it, but the reality is, I suppose, clear-cut chances few and far between. Chelsea better post, but it remains 0-0. Here's Tom.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, just the one effort on target. It's come from Chelsea. As they have a goal kick now taken quickly and short. Sanchez across to Fofana. Fofana slows the game down to a walk. The game has taken a little bit of a lull since that injury, and the substitution as a result. Garnacho coming on for Esteval. Ball forward from Gusto over the top towards Delap. He's been pushed and pulled and harried by Heaven, but not strongly enough as Garnacho has it. Forward he comes, support from Neto to his left. He plays it forward first time, blocked by Dallo. The Portuguese defender is able to play it down the line to Mbeumo. Manchester United nearly able to break there. Bruno Fernandes over towards the right hand side where Mbeumo is running into space. He's got the better of Hato here. Positive touch into the area. Mbeumo draws it back to the edge of the area for Cunha. Heavy touch from him, and then an equally strong challenge comes in on Jarrell Hato. Well, that could have been a really positive opportunity there for the visitors this evening. Manchester United. A heavy touch from Cunha means he's dispossessed and then gets himself booked for the challenge as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like the counter because it wasn't just a simple clearance by Dalot in the first place. Mbeumo made the run, but Dalot went in field. And I think Cucurella got stood by Dalot staying there. And, of course, there's all that space down the left-hand side. He's not greedy. Mbeumo, you'd say that's a gilt-edged opportunity, but it's such a heavy touch. The second touch of tackle, and it's a lunging tackle. No surprise he's gone into the book. And he'll be disappointed because he's had a quiet start to the game, and that is gilt-edged. Better touch if he just keeps it within 5 yards of himself. He's shooting at goal, but he didn't, and now he's in the book.
Yeah, I covered the 5:30 game, the equaliser from Rutter. Very similar ball, back across the face of goal to the edge of the area. He hit it first time. In this game, Cunha tries to take that touch. It's a heavy one, and he's dispossessed. 25 and a half gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. You're listening to Off-Tube Independent Studio-based commentary. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed too much. Chelsea have dominated possession. They've had a shot on target, but they have lost Esteval to injury. Garnacho's replaced him. Manchester United with a half chance there, albeit no shot comes from it. So probably can't put it in the category of chance or not. But out towards the right hand side for Mazraoui. Goes backwards to Lamens in goal, inside his own area. Palmer doesn't press him initially, just tries to block the passing lane. He's able to find Heaven. Heaven goes back to Lamens inside his own area. Manchester United in the last few minutes have seen a little bit more of the ball after Chelsea had begun to have a stranglehold of it. Here's Casemiro. He halved the deficit against Leeds in the previous game. After Martinez was sent off, there's a foul there on Mazraoui. That'll be a free kick to the visitors on halfway. Manchester United have had a good few minutes, Rob.
Yeah, good few. It's taken a while. I think that's a pretty decent chance for Cunha, but obviously it requires a touch. They've settled down. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised actually Chelsea weren't a bit more aggressive in going after Manchester United. You saw how Leeds gained success. I mean, that was at Old Trafford, but it was just Leeds wave after wave, and Chelsea have kind of settled in possession. I don't think they've, as I say, gone after Manchester United, and now of course Manchester United have had 26 minutes to get into the pace of the game. They've asked a question or two themselves. I think the referee has given a couple of soft fouls as well, which is surprising bearing in mind that Heaven got away with one in the D. Yes, okay, it's not the worst challenge you've ever seen, but they didn't give a free kick for that one. But there's been a couple of incidences where there hasn't been much contact, and Michael Oliver's blown his whistle. So that'll be frustrating for Chelsea because it's generally gone against them. Cucurella's penalised moments ago. Chelsea are just starting to get a bit more of the ball back. But as I say, I'm surprised they're not really attacking Manchester United as other sides have done.
0-0 at Stamford Bridge, 28 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Here's Enzo Fernandez. Cucurella just over halfway, then goes back into home territory where Jarrell Hato has it across to Moses Caicedo, who's dropped in between the two centre-halves. Sanchez now on the edge of his area, takes possession over. Lofts the ball forward with his right boot in towards enemy territory. Over the head of Garnacho, will get there in front of Dallo, being well held though by the Portuguese. Garnacho then slips, is able to get back up. Dallo hassling him, and he's won the ball back and won a throw as well. It's brilliant defending from Diego Dallo right in front of those travelling Manchester United fans. No love lost clearly for their former midfield / forward Alejandro Garnacho. Dallo with the throw. Taking a bit of a walk to try and steal some yards. Michael Oliver allows it, but he does want the throw-in to be taken now, and it comes only as far as Cucurella. He finds Palmer with the header, gets past one Palmer, edge of the area, trying to create a shooting opportunity, goes down under the challenge. It's Heaven again who's put it in. This will be a Chelsea free kick inside the D on the edge of the box. It's a really dangerous opportunity, and again it's Heaven with a lazy leg in.
Yeah, and again, you might argue the contact isn't an awful lot, but he's kind of bundling into Cole Palmer, and obviously forwards players take the contact. It's a little bit clumsy, like you say, a little bit lazy, not really committed to the ball, and it's in the D. This is dangerous for Chelsea. Obviously, Cole Palmer is an expert in these kind of situations. He's one option. Enzo Fernandez, not bad, the right-footed option. So it's a good position for Chelsea to be in. And right in the D, is it too close to goal? We'll find out momentarily.
Half an hour gone, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. But the hosts with an opportunity to open the scoring. Enzo Fernandez is over it, as is Cole Palmer. So a right-footed option and a left-footed option. As the camera pans to Cole Palmer. It's a 6-man United wall, if you include the Brian Mbeumo shaped draft excluder. Fernandez is not too far away from that either. He's about 4 or 5 yards to the left, as is Kobbie Mainoo, and then Mazraoui equally on the right. Who will it be then, Enzo or Cole Palmer? Enzo Fernandez steps up and hits it against the wall, nodded away, sent back in by Hatto. High lofted header, partially away by Shaw, again picked up by Hatto. Keeps it alive as he tries to find Garnacho on the far side. Shaw this time with a more firm contact on the ball. And out for a Chelsea throw. Bit of a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, he thinks beat the wall. I mean, to me, I'm not that I'm an expert, obviously. Yeah, I thought Lamens was quite central in the middle of the goal, which you'd think Fernandez could go for the keeper's side, that top corner, being so close in. Bit of pace and a bit of power. I just thought he lined up a bit too central, but of course he's then tried to go over the wall and didn't get the elevation. So like you say, a bit of a waste. Obviously, if Lamens had been more to that far post, his left, you think, yeah, go over the wall. But I thought he was a bit central there, and like you say, wasted opportunity.
Here's Neto, just inside Manchester United territory. Caicedo into the centre circle for Enzo Fernandez, then back to Fofana. It's a good press from Fernandez just to force the Blues into their own territory. But there's Enzo Fernandez in between the defenders to pick the ball up out towards the left-hand side. Dallow's equal to it. Cucurella wins a 50-50 with Casemiro, finds Caicedo. Bit of pace about the game now as Chelsea fly forward. Gusto on the overlap, he doesn't use him though. Neto moves in field, then chops back and does use Gusto. First time ball into the area from him, high lofted towards the back stick, away off the head of Brian Mbeumo, and out for a Chelsea corner. They've just turned it up a gear, the hosts.
Yeah, they're getting bodies forward as well. The full-backs, Gusto one side, Cucurella's an option in the box. To their credit on this occasion, Manchester United, Cunha and Mbeumo are coming back to help out. But like you say, Chelsea just in the ascendancy again. Maybe a bit too laboured getting the ball in there. Try and turn the Manchester United defence rather than let them get set. And of course, when they do, it's a bit of a fight for the ball. But yeah, Chelsea just on the up again.
Hatto back to Sanchez inside their own half now. Chelsea 0-0, 32 minutes gone. You're listening to Off-Tube Independent Studio-based commentary. Ball forward over towards Delap, headed away by Dallow, only as far as Cucurella. Edge of the box, finds Delap inside the area. Sliding challenge comes in from Aidan Heaven, and this time it's well timed. It's out of play for a Chelsea throw on the left-hand side. They're just being asked questions, this Manchester United back four. Garnacho forward to Enzo, tries to poke it through the legs of Mazraoui and gets on the end of it as well. Enzo Fernandez puts it wide. A little bit of fortune as it fell back into the Argentine's path. He couldn't turn that fortune into fame. It's just wide, but Chelsea are getting closer.
I think he's got to score. I mean, essentially he's 10 yards out keeper to beat. He tried to pick his spot, I understand that, but it's just wide of the post. But he's got to the keeper to beat, and he hasn't hit the target. I think that's a massive chance, and he'll be super disappointed. He's done really well because he rode the challenge of 2 United players, and then of course they're the wrong side. That's another big chance gone the way of the Blues.
Dallow forward, Fernandez leaves it, Caicedo picks it up, backwards to Fofana across to Gusto. Gusto on the right hand side of the defence, centrally to Fofana. Good press from Sk this time. Gusto's got his face to his own goal as Cunha puts him under pressure. He's wriggling one way then the other, has no real option, has to go backwards to Sanchez, who clears first time. 34 minutes gone, still goalless at Stamford Bridge. Those two continue their battle, Aidan Heaven and Liam Delap. Enzo Fernandez, that is, wins it off Bruno Fernandes. Now here's Cucurella out towards the left-hand side for Garnacho. Look at the pace of the Chelsea players flying forward. Good foot in, though, from Diego Dallow. Out for a Chelsea throw on the left-hand side. Taken by Garnacho, back to Enzo Fernandez. Moves it laterally as he finds Fofana in the centre circle. Over towards Gusto. Now here's Neto. He's been quiet in this opening 34 minutes. Just trying to dictate play as he points where he wants his teammates to move to. Doesn't get the response that he required and has to go laterally instead to Gusto. Now to Fofana once again. Over towards Palmer. It's just dropped into midfield to receive that pass. Just inside opposition territory is Palmer. Slows it down. And then injects some pace out towards the right hand side. Moves infield on his favoured left. Rides one challenge. Can't ride a second. Brilliant challenge from Casemiro to win the ball back. Now here's Bruno Fernandes. He's got Brian Mbeumo to his right. Positive first touch from Brian Mbeumo. Just opens things up in the centre of the park. It's a poor pass though from the former Brentford man. Gives possession back to Chelsea.
Yeah, I thought it was good defending though in the end. Sesko made a good run behind, but they weren't quite full. Gusto stuck to his line, and I think because he did, that meant Cunha didn't get the space, didn't make the run that Mbeumo thought he was going to. So good defending on the counter from Chelsea, back on the front foot.
Here's Garnacho, Cucurella. About 35 yards out is Enzo Fernandez from Gerald Hato. Crossfield ball over towards Cole Palmer, who's unmarked on the far side. Ball into the area from him. Looks a dangerous one. It's straight into the arms though of Lemens, who'd come off his line. He's read that cross really well there as the young Manchester United goalkeeper. He plucks it out of the sky. 10 minutes to go before half-time. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0.
Cucurella's actually beyond the lap there, and they've got a couple of bodies in the box. I don't think Manchester United are quite having the possession to get those numbers in the box. That might change.
Here's Cunha driving towards the edge of the area, finds Mbeumo inside the box. His touch takes him back outside though, under pressure from Cucurella. Now here's Diego Dallo, swings a ball in towards the far post, away from Fofana. Delap gives chase, but Kobbie Mainoo gets there first. Barely said the name of the England international as he takes it off for Aiden Heaven. Forward to Bruno Fernandes. Switch of play from left to right towards the head of Brian Mbeumo, but it's away from him by Marc Cucurella. And out for a Manchester United throw. 36 minutes on the clock. Still Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Throw in for the visitors about midway through opposition territory. Dallo back to Mazraoui. Across to Aiden Heaven. And then to Mazraoui. Interestingly, don't know if you caught it, Rob, but with that latest Enzo Fernandez effort, you could just see the body language of Aiden Heaven seemed to almost lean into the ball, leading with his arm. It would have been interesting had it hit that arm, what would have happened with the VAR. He sort of got away with one there.
Yeah, I mean, he's made one or two rash decisions in the sense that there was the challenge for Cole Palmer, sliding challenge on Delap. He actually won that ball. Is it the exuberance of youth or a lack of experience? Manchester United trying to put that to bed by actually attacking at the moment. They've been on the back foot for large periods. But again, talking about a press, there isn't really much of one for Chelsea, and so Manchester United have control possession on the halfway line. Mainoo driving forward now, though. Yeah,
towards the final third. Now to Dallo on the right-hand side, almost on the byline. Cuts infield, then finds Bruno Fernandes. He whips a ball in. That's easily cleared, though, by Chelsea's Gerald Hato. He finds Garnacho, now Cucurella, and now Caicedo. Garnacho had made a run, but he wasn't found. He'd instead gone the other way to Gusto on the top of the pitch on the far right-hand side. Tries to release Pedro Neto. Finds him. Edge of the area. Shot comes in. It's blocked. It's going to fall for Enzo Fernandez. Can he hit one? Tries to get the effort away. In the end, it takes a deflection. It's spilled by the goalkeeper. It's back across the face of goal, and it's in the net from Delap, but the offside flag is up on the far side. Everyone stood still as that effort was saved by the goalkeeper. Cole Palmer squared it, Delap finished it off, but I think they even know this is offside.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, is it? It does look offside, yeah. Well, they both do, Cole Palmer and Delap. I don't think it's a convincing save from Lamens because it's not the fiercest shot, but of course then the flag goes up. And it hasn't taken long for VAR to rule it out. And again, I would say it's rather static defending. It's a tame shot. Of course, strikers always follow it in, and defenders have stood watching. Could have been a simple tap in the end. I mean, you would say Chelsea have created that fraction more, and I think they're looking at a little bit more dangerous, whether it's in possession or on the counter. And here they are in the attack again.
Neto, corner of the box on the right hand side towards Delap. It comes off Enzo Fernandez. It's going to be dealt with by Dallo, who finds Casemiro, but it's another dangerous ball into the box in which Enzo Fernandez has tried to get on the end of. Brian Mbeumo's fouled going the other way. That'll be a free kick and potentially a yellow card. Yes, it is indeed. Gerald Hato has been booked, the second player to be yellowed in the first half. 39 minutes on the clock. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Cunha, by the way, the other to see yellow in this one. Manchester United with a dangerous counter, but Chelsea with an opportunity at the other end, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, the ball into the box. I mean, it's just hitting hope, really. But they've got bodies in there. Delap's got an early lead. Mazraoui doesn't really know what he's doing. And, of course, Dalot's actually behind Fernandez, was it? And it's hit Fernandez and gone away from goal. I mean, if he'd realised that everybody was going to miss it ahead of him, Fernandez has got a chance there about 4 yards out.
Bruno Fernandes, free kick into the area. Punched away by Sanchez as they're coming together after the fact between Sanchez and a couple of bodies. One in blue, one in red. Casemiro is the latter. Fernandes with a dangerous curling ball in. It's heavy contact from both players really on Sanchez. He collides more so probably with his own man. But of course in these situations, Rob, the goalkeeper always given the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's a foul. I think that's good defend. I mean, Sanchez has his critics, doesn't he? And I know he's prone to a mistake. But that's brave, and he's got there, and he's dealt with it. There's actually good defending from Fofana in the end. Casemiro, so good for Manchester United in the air from set-piece situations. One of their better players, and didn't quite get the touch. It did look as though the free kick was a bit too far ahead of the attack and in Sanchez's favour, but Casemiro didn't give up on it. Sanchez stood strong though, got the free kick. 5
minutes to go before half-time. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0. Sanchez with the free kick. It's cleared long up towards Delap. Header won by Mazraoui. Enzo Fernandez takes it off the toes of his namesake, but then Moses Caicedo gives it away to Kobbie Mainoo. Cunha round the corner to Bruno Fernandes. He's done well to find Casemiro, and then Fernandes again towards Mbeumo under pressure from Cucurella. Just inside opposition territory, then goes back across the threshold of the halfway line, and Manchester United will keep the ball. They've seen a little bit more of it across the last 10-15 minutes, but still no shot on target from Michael Carrick's side. Just the one effort to speak of, and it wasn't overly notable. The referee, Michael Oliver, has blown his whistle just to bring a halt to things. Fofana, who had just collided with his own goalkeeper there, Robert Sanchez, and seemingly feeling the after effects of that, just holding his left ribs in some real discomfort as well by the looks of it.
Yeah, and the referee stopped play in the middle of obviously the play going on, so he's obviously spotted the problem, and it's made sure Fofana's got quick treatment. It's not a hand injury, like you say. He's clutching his chest, his ribs. He's got the full brunt. Seen a replay, of course, the full brunt of Sanchez's weight going into him. He's turning, knowing Casemiro's on his right. And then as the boy's looking at the ball, there is Robert Sanchez ploughing into him. So that'll be a shame for Chelsea. You don't want to have to necessarily make changes, but that could potentially be 2 first-half injury-enforced changes. They've lost Esteval. Garnacho has done okay since coming on, but to lose a centre-half as well. Hato, the other centre-half, is, of course, on a yellow card. He's been helped to his feet. I can't work out if he's injured or not able to continue. We'll find out in a moment, but to lose 2 through injury in one half would be a massive blow for Chelsea. Yeah, already without Levi Colwill to a long-term knee injury, and Reece James to a latest of his ailments, a hamstring problem at the moment, is keeping the club captain out of selection. Back to his feet though, Wesley Fofana. He's keeping a right hand on those left ribs, so clearly is in some discomfort. Whatever the physios have done, albeit potentially temporarily, have got him back to his feet, but maybe not good enough to allow him to continue. We'll wait and see. Kobbie Mainoo has just trotted across to the technical dugouts to speak with Michael Carrick. He's had a word from his managers. He's been largely ineffective in the game, Kobbie Mainoo. In possession, it's been largely Bruno Fernandes on the ball, and Kobbie Mainoo, although going forward isn't really his forte, he hasn't really been involved too much. Get your thoughts on that in just a sec, Rob, because here come Manchester United on the restart. Bruno Fernandes down the right, beats one, ball into the area towards the edge of the box, where a shot comes in, and it's the opening goal. Next, Matheus Cunha, who finds it. It's a brilliant move from Manchester United, with an equally brilliant finish from Matheus Cunha. Well, that's their first shot on target. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant finish, bearing in mind he was in a similar situation for that heavy touch. He shot first time this time, but Fernandez has held off two rather weak challenges, you'd have to say. Obviously, hindsight's brilliant. One of them's got to take him out. They're just kind of half-hearted. Garnacho has one, Cucurella the other. But how has he been able to get into the byline? It's another assist for Bruno Fernandes. Garnacho, I'm not even sure if he's trying to win the ball. And maybe Sk was the target initially, but Cunha's running onto this. Eyes lit up, crisp finish, top corner. Sanchez, no chance. But Garnacho, Cucurella, they've got to do better. Another assist for Fernandes. What's that, 18 on the season? And United are in front. You can't say they deserve it because that's their first attempt on target. Chelsea caught asleep.
Yeah, question marks as well, Rob, about Moses Caicedo, who he's so preoccupied with Benjamin Sesko and his positioning that he doesn't realise he could just step back a yard or two and block that cross. It goes straight past him. And as you say, into the path of Mateus Cunha, gets his 8th league goal of the season. Bruno Fernandes, his 18th assist, as Rob mentions. Undeserved for Manchester United, but they won't care. They're a goal up away from home at Stamford Bridge, and there's some question marks, as I say, about Caicedo's defending more than most, you'd say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Garnacho's got to do better in the sense that he can see Cucurella's playing a little bit of catch-up, so he's got to get goal side of Bruno Fernandes. He doesn't, and he kind of pulls him back, tries to clip him over, but it's so half-hearted. And in fairness to Caicedo, he stood next to Sesko, so he's marking Sesko. What are the other players doing? They're not marking anybody. They're not seeing where the danger might be. Cunha beats everybody to the ball. I think it's harsh to blame Caicedo. He was marking a player and none of the others were.
Yeah, well, some of the Chelsea fans and players might be blaming Michael Oliver because, of course, Wesley Fofana not on the pitch at the time the goal went in, so they were temporarily down to 10 there, albeit his injury, his ailment, is due to a collision with his own man. Yes, a free kick was given. Casemiro judged to have fouled someone inside the area when that coming together occurred, but yeah, no Fofana on the pitch. He was receiving treatment. He's back on now, but it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. We've played 46 minutes. The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 5 added on, so 4 remaining. Here come Manchester United once again. Cunha on halfway, under pressure from Caicedo, goes back to Mainu. Fernandes round the corner to Aidan Heaven. Couple of poor touches from him, but keeps it alive under minimal pressure from Palmer. Mazraoui to Casemiro, under pressure from Enzo Fernandez. Finds the goal scorer Cunha, who tries to dribble round former teammate Pedro Neto. Of course, those two played at Wolves together. And Chelsea back in possession. But yeah, Chelsea might feel a little bit hard done by, but Manchester United saw their moment, saw their opening, Rob, and took it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can do about an injury. Either replace him or get on with it. It's not as if they were caught short in the sense that they didn't have enough defenders on the field. Garnacho's wrong side. Cucurella's a little bit out of position. Gusto didn't track Cunha's run quick enough. Hato's not marking him. I just think it was disappointing from the get-go. As a cross comes in to the far post from Chelsea, and Dalot wasn't quite sure. He's chested it behind. Corner kick to Chelsea. This might be the game's first corner. And it was awkward for Dalot, but nobody was closing in on him. He just didn't get the shout.
Enzo Fernandez takes the corner to Cucurella, to Fernandez once more. Now Palmer. Palmer moves infield to Gusto. Dinked ball in towards a far post, looking for Fofana, who can't keep it alive. It's over him. It's out of play for a Manchester United goal kick. 47.5 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Victory for Michael Carrick this evening would mean that his side moved to 58 points. It will put them 10 points above opponents Chelsea today. Sandwiched between them, Aston Villa in 4th, Liverpool in 5th in the last of the 5 UEFA Champions League places. It would mean that Manchester United are pretty much there in terms of qualification for the Champions League, you would say.
Well, obviously they've been in a very good position. I mean, they've got some tough games to go, of course. I mean, the worry, or the one thing in their favour, I say one thing, obviously they've got to see this game out, but the one thing in their favour is how Chelsea are just falling apart. 1 win in 7, and that was against Port Vale. Haven't scored in the last 4 defeats. I know there's been some good sides that have beaten them, but Newcastle are hardly in the best of form, and that was at Stamford Bridge. Wrestling match going on, Liam Delap, Mazraoui, and it's a free kick given the way of Delap. It's not that far inside the United half, but it's a chance to load the box. It's only 1-0, so Chelsea aren't out of this yet. I think they've got to obviously be a little bit more aggressive. I was saying that at 0-0, given United's recent form, but the referees actually stopped players. They're coming together edge of the box for Fafana and Casemiro. Casemiro's ended up on the deck before the free kick's taken, so the referee's going to get a restart. It's only 1-0, but Chelsea, I think, have just got to be a lot better in possession, more aggressive, up-tempo, and try and stretch Manchester United.
Pedro Neto will now be allowed to take the free kick. Swings towards the back post. The heads go up away from Casemiro. Palmer picks it up on the edge, drops it back towards halfway for Malo Gusto. A couple of touches and a little bit of tentativeness from Gusto, then tries to fire it into the feet of Pedro Neto. That's overhit. It's out for a Manchester United throw on the right hand side. You mentioned the poor form of Chelsea, just one league win since the 10th of February. That came away against Aston Villa's defeat. Aston Villa defeats against Arsenal, Newcastle, Everton and Manchester City. As you mentioned, Liam Rosenior's time has started well and has tapered off, to say the least. Manchester United in possession. Lemons forward over halfway, less than 30 seconds remaining in this first half. Up towards the left hand side, Shaw touches it down, then he's fouled by Pedro Neto. That'll be a free kick just inside home territory for Manchester United, as Shaw goes to collect the loose ball. All eyes towards Michael Oliver awaiting the half-time whistle, as the free kick is taken quickly and short. But there is the half-time whistle. Michael Oliver has seen enough after 5 minutes added on. Well, they weren't the best team in that first half, Manchester United, but it's they who lead going into the break. After 43 minutes, Bruno Fernandes, with a bit of individual brilliance down the right-hand side, cuts it back to the edge of the box, and Cunha hits it first time into the back of the net. It's half-time, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1.
Half time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out, keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out, keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out, keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out, keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post, and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandes just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandes put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their first attempt on target, and it came in the 43rd minute. Fernandez just allowed to drive to the byline, pulled it back for Cunha to crisply strike it home from just beyond the penalty spot. Chelsea had been the better side before then. Esteval clipped a post and Fernandez put one wide when about 8 yards out keeper to beat. They have lost Esteval through injury and struggling to find the opening. 0-1. Half time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. United scoring their... Well, a warm welcome back to our coverage of the action taking place at Stamford Bridge. At the break, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Chelsea just fell asleep towards the end of the half, and they missed two, certainly one big chance. Esteval struck a post from just inside the box, but Fernandez really should have made it 1-0 to Chelsea, but then a slack defending at the other end with half-time approaching. Fernandez putting on his 18th assist of the season for Cunha to slot into the top corner. Nothing that Robert Sanchez could do about it. That was Manchester United's first shot on target, only their second shot of the half. So Chelsea have got some work to do. 0-1 down, no changes at the break. Myself, Rob Eddy and Tom Wilson taking you through this one. I presume Chelsea have just got to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I think so. You made the point, didn't you, Rob, that Manchester United's defeat at Old Trafford against Leeds, the reason why that they lost that game, the reason why they were behind to two quick goals in the first half was Leeds' aggression and their ability to fly forward and put Manchester United under pressure. Chelsea haven't done that.
Yeah, Dalot's on the attack for Manchester United pretty quickly after the restart. An underhit pass from Fernandez to Dalot as they tried to work the 1-2, hooked away from danger, and it is only going to be a throw-in to Manchester United, maybe halfway inside the Chelsea half. As I mentioned, no changes at the break, so a reminder of the lineups. Chelsea go from that throw-in. By the way, Manchester United have possession with Lamens inside his own half, and maybe an indication of Manchester United's mindset at the moment. As I say, that's a long ball down the channel for Dalot to chase. Will he get there ahead of Hato? No, he won't, and Hato shepherded it behind for a goal kick to Chelsea. Those lineups then: Chelsea, it's Sanchez, Gusto, Fofana, Hato, Cucurella, Fernandez, Caicedo, Palmer, Neto, Delap, and of course Garnacho. He replaced Esteval, an injury victim in the first half. Hato is the one player on a yellow card. For Chelsea, Manchester United unchanged. Lamens, Shaw, Heaven, Mazraoui, Dalot, Mainu, Casemiro, Fernandez, Cunha, and Bemo and Šeško. 2 minutes gone in the second half, and Chelsea haven't seen too much of the early possession, and now they're playing their way into a little bit of trouble, but Hato quick enough to stay clear of Fernandez, but the ball has just been recycled across the back line, and Gusto plays it all the way back to Robert Sanchez. They're only trailing by a goal, so this game far from done, but maybe a point's not really good enough for Chelsea, bearing in mind how far they are behind Manchester United with games running out. So they'll want to score that goal, you would think, their first goal at least, pretty quickly after the restart. And of course, can they afford a second, particularly with their goal-scoring troubles of late? I don't know, it's a tough one. Rock and a hard place, maybe?
Yeah, as you mentioned, they've been in poor form as well. Only Spurs and Burnley have picked up less points than them across a 5-game period. So it is going to be tough for them to bounce back, really, in this one. As you say, only beat Aston Villa in the league, and in the last few games only beat Port Vale in the Cup. So Yeah, against Manchester United side, yes, not in the greatest form, but have been pretty decent under Michael Carrick. They are in third, and as you say, they're 10 points better off than them in the table. Maybe just a piece of individual brilliance potentially. I mean, Chelsea have got a few players who can provide that. They brought Fofana back out for the second half as well, who we thought they might lose to injury, so I have to keep an eye on him.
Into the 49th minute, Chelsea having possession at the moment. It's all inside their own half. There was a momentary press from Manchester United, but now quickly getting back into position. Ball over the top, looking for Cucurella, and it's just a little bit too straight for him. Bounces through to Lamens, but Cucurella, not for the first time, making that run beyond the striker. Mainu has it, finds Casemiro for Manchester United. Forward towards Šeško on the halfway line, who just coaxes it into the path of Luke Shaw. Nobody downfield, so Manchester United recycle it back into their own half to keep the ball. Obviously, Cucurella's made those runs down the left-hand side pretty much all game for Chelsea. We have seen, obviously, Gusto from time to time get forward as well. I would argue that maybe the two wingers, Neto and Garnacho, Neto's on the right now, Garnacho on the left. Hasn't always been the case. Ball over the top for Manchester United. Doesn't bounce nicely for Cunha. Does fall for Fofana, who wins the header, and now the potential break is on, and Bamo jumping into the back of Garnacho. Will be a free kick to Chelsea. But I was going to say, the wingers probably haven't quite done enough, Garnacho and Neto.
Yeah, of course, they lost Esteval, as you mentioned, who had started the game quite lively. Garnacho came off the bench and he's not really been involved. I said when he came on, Garnacho, that I thought his move from Manchester United to Chelsea has sort of coincided with him becoming more selfless, and he plays a little bit with the handbrake on. I like to see him just get the ball and go. Pedro Neto equally, I think, since he's been playing under Liam Rossini, there's been a bit about his game as well, which is very, very similar. He's not as forward thinking. To their credit in that front line, Chelsea, I think Delap's done well. He's had some real battles with Aiden Heaven, who's won a couple of balls off him. Likewise, Delap has won a few from Heaven, but I think he's just been maybe 5% short of a foul almost 3 or 4 times, Heaven. He's towed that line very, very, very closely. He's almost fouled Delap on quite a few occasions. Delap's done well to A, keep his head, but B, keep winning the ball.
Yeah, he's certainly a physical striker. He's put real pressure on the two centre-backs as Heaven plays it back to Lamens, who rather gets underneath this. Fofana very high up the field for a centre-back, has inadvertently headed it backwards, but there are blue shirts behind. They are going from, well, that's the bit loose from Cucurella, and Hato has to chase deep inside his own half to get there ahead of Šeško. Goes back to Sanchez, who launches it downfield. Heaven heads away unchallenged, back into the Chelsea half, but only to Caicedo. Was that a miscontrol or an attempted pass? Either way, he's found Fernandes, and now Neto has it on the Chelsea right, infield to Palmer. Fernandes just outside the box, right hand side, pulls it back. Caicedo running onto it, shot deflected away. That will be a corner kick. Space seemingly all over the place for Chelsea, but not necessarily in the box. They've got a corner out of it.
Yeah, it's an effort from some distance, isn't it, from Caicedo? Would have been interesting had it not taken that deflection, just to see where it was going to end up. But yeah, Chelsea just opening Manchester United up for the really first occasion in this second half, but a good block.
Corner kick, we haven't had too many in the game. Possession stats in Chelsea's favour, around about 60-40. The corner doesn't beat Fernandes at the near post, and he chests it into the path of Mbemo, who's already crossed the halfway line. Dalot's gone ahead of him. Sesko through the middle. It's back inside to Cunha, back heel to Fernandes, nearly intercepted. Fernandes driving forward, left-footed shot, drags it wide at the far post. Puts his arms up in apology because there was a run at left-hand side, Luke Shaw, and he ignored him. Swift counter from Manchester United, but shot off target.
I wouldn't usually criticise Bruno Fernandes for shooting, but maybe he does choose the wrong option here, Rob. I mean, as a man who's got 18 assists in the league, he can have a shot every now and again. I suppose he's set that many up, but I think Shaw's in a really good position down that left-hand side. He's just bursting into a little bit of space, and Fernandes immediately, after that shot is struck, he immediately puts his hands in the air to say, "I'm sorry, I've chosen the wrong option there."
53 minutes are in when the 53rd minute. Chelsea back in possession. I said they'd be more aggressive. Fofana's still on the ball, waiting for an option. as opposed to trying to make something happen. And there's a long ball down the channel for Delap to chase. Heaven across, slices it somewhat, but he got there first. Just the throw in to Chelsea, which Neto has taken into the chest of Delap, who's under pressure from both Casemiro and Heaven. Perhaps could have done with some support, as Manchester United now counter with Cunha down the left-hand side. Sesko and Mbemo up with him. Cunha still has it. And Caicedo gets a challenge in. Throw in to Manchester United, half inside the Chelsea half, left-hand side. Cunha, who's probably not had the best game for Manchester United, but he, of course, has made the difference. He had a big chance early on in the first half, but miscontrolled. And, of course, the chance went begging. But he has obviously scored the goal that separates the two sides. 1-0 to Manchester United into the 54th minute. As Mainu finds Casemiro forward towards Sesko. Now Bruno Fernandes. Switch of play to Cunha. Left channel at the moment. Is he lining up a shot? He is. Right-footed. Blocked by Fofana. Caicedo has then caught by Cunha, who is, of course, on a yellow card for Manchester United. I think Chelsea are asking the question why it should be a second yellow. And I mean, there is contact, but referee Michael Oliver not going into his pocket.
Yeah, I'm always of the opinion, Rob, that not every foul is a yellow card, and just because he's been booked once doesn't mean that he needs to be booked again. It should still be the same rules for a second yellow as it is for the first. Either one challenge deemed worthy of a yellow, or an accumulation of small ones not deemed worthy, and that's his first foul since he's been booked. He will have to be careful though. One or two more, and you'd certainly be thinking that he's going to be brought off by Carrick.
Chelsea back in possession with Enzo Fernandez. He missed a big chance in the first half. He looks for a ball, and Cucurella again. It's just got a little bit too much on it. Cucurella underneath it. Garnacho's kept it alive on the goal line. Pulls it back to Enzo Fernandez on the left angle. Low cross in this time. Strange move. Cleared away by Casemiro, and Bemo will give chase. Caicedo quick enough to get there first. He's not done Sanchez any favours, but Sanchez controls well. And then eases it down the line. Overhit, actually, looking for Gusto, who's still downfield. Bounces harmlessly into touch for a throw into Manchester United in their own half. I think the assistant referee is just encouraging Luke Shaw not to waste time. And he takes the throw into Aidan Heron, just on the edge of his own box. Chelsea not exactly pushing forward this time to enforce the hurry up. Casemiro goes down the line. Onto the chest of Cucurella. Fernandez had gone in behind, doesn't reach him. And now Enzo Fernandez feeds it to Caicedo in the centre circle. United have quickly got back in defensive positions, but Cucurella has it to Garnacho. One-on-one with Dalot. A couple of step overs, half tackled. Cucurella tries to get a cross in. That's blocked by Bruno Fernandes. Garnacho back to Caicedo as they try and just up the pressure through the Blues. 1-0 down. But of course, having missed some big chances in the first half, Neto crosses it in towards the far post. Heads go up, it's the underside of the crossbar. Liam Delap it was who won the header, I think. And Lamens was just watching it bounce off the bar to safety. Another ball into the box, and Delap's brought it down. He's got his back to goal at the moment. Left-footed shot on the half-turn, blocked by the legs of Mazraoui or Heaven. Behind for a corner, could have easily been an equaliser.
Yeah, great ball in, and a great header as well from Delap. Rises high, but stays in the air. Has a real knack. Getting on the end of some crosses, finds the header, and it comes off the underside of the crossbar, as you say, and just bounces away. I mean, it hasn't really been his season, and based off that, you might think it's not his day, but in comes the corner.
It's into a central position, but Casemiro heads away unchallenged. A couple had gone near post. Cunha is now trying to bring it clear. He forgot to take the ball with him as he was trying a little shimmy on Cole Palmer, and that's allowed Gusto to come back and regain possession for the Blues. That striking of the woodwork might just give them a lift in the many senses. Obviously, it's a bit deflating that it hasn't gone in. But they know they can get at Manchester United. Garnacho down the left-hand side, infield to Enzo Fernandez. Back out to the left where Cole Palmer waits. Infield to Garnacho. Loved the score against his former club, of course. Doesn't shoot this time. Goes back to Caicedo. Teased infield to Gusto in a very central position. Number 10 role, really, before it's worked out to Neto on the right. Put under some pressure by Luke Shaw. Back to Fofana. And Chelsea dictating the tempo of the game at the moment. Hatto bringing it forward for the Blues. Wrong foot, Sheshko running to the edge of the box, feeds it out to the left-hand side, forces Garnacho a bit wide. So ball retained with a pass back towards Cole Palmer, who tries to work a 1-2 with Hatto. Doesn't quite work. Manchester United try and bring it clear, and Bemba and Cucurella battled for the ball, but Cucurella stood up to the challenge, won it back for the Blues. Fofana right at the centre circle, coming forward though for Chelsea. They were up in the pressure for sure, turning the screw, hit the woodwork. Good ball from Neto down the right hand side. Gusto's kept it in, low ball in towards the near post, and Heaven just got there ahead of Delap and is able to clear, but it is only a clearance. Will come back down the Chelsea right with Neto infield to Enzo Fernandez. Cucurella very central, offloads to Caicedo, who's almost playing as a centre back at the moment, with Fofana and Hatto both ahead of him. Cole Palmer, Garnacho rather, on the right hand side. Fernandez, lovely turn to get away from Maino. Ball played into the box. It's blocked by Kamazraoui. Chelsea are appealing for a handball. No penalty, says the referee. Presumably VAR will take a look, but Mbemo is bringing it clear for the Red Devils. Feeds it over to the left hand side. Bruno Fernandes, who's only got Sheshko ahead of him. Needless 1-2 with Cunha. Perhaps just to get their breath back, because they've been under the cosh.
Yeah, good spell there for Chelsea, wasn't it? Not just the headed effort from Delap off the crossbar, the follow-up as well from the former Ipswich man, which is blocked. It's cleared away, but Chelsea kept possession, recycled it well. Didn't have another opportunity after that, but they have just begun to, or rather, re-begun to dominate possession, haven't they? We saw a lot of that in the first half before the goal for Manchester United. We've seen it again now. They do move the ball quickly and they look dangerous, but Manchester United equally on the break. It's a good run down that left-hand side from Fernandes. Doesn't lead to anything, as you say, just a couple of sort of aimless and pointless 1-2s just to slow things down. I think just to put on the foot on the ball and relax.
Yeah, the ball did strike the arm of Mazraoui, incidentally, for the penalty claim, but the arm was by the side. He was side on and it hit the arm. He was always going to, I guess, given his body position. Wasn't making himself bigger as such. Hour passed at Stamford Bridge. Independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea trailing by a goal to nil. They certainly will feel hard done to on the balance of play and the chances that they've had. They've hit the woodwork twice. One was a lot closer than the other, but still they've hit the woodwork twice. There's a long ball downfield. It's one by Fofana, one in the sense that he got the header, but his header's only found Cunha. Bringing it forward for Manchester United. Fernandes drills the ball in. I think that was an attempted pass to find Sesko. It wasn't a good one, and it's cleared by Gusto, who finds Neto. Gusto back to Neto, little back heel to Gusto. They're playing their own little game at the moment, but Mainu steps in, wins it back off Neto, and Manchester United have got Gusto out of position. Fernandes turns away from the retreating Gusto, finds Cunha left hand side. He slowed it right down. Casemiro could shoot, tried to thread the eye of the needle, trying to find Sheshko, but it's cleared by Chelsea. Only as far as Dalot, who looks for Mbemo. Poor touch from him, and now Chelsea have it back. Mazraoui put Cole Palmer under pressure, and he's fouled Cole Palmer. Free kick to Chelsea, which they've already taken. And Garnacho down the left-hand side finds Fernandes. Enzo, of course, back to Caicedo in the centre circle. And just for a moment, United had a bit of possession.
Yeah, they did. They just had a 3 or 4 minute spell, didn't they? But Chelsea, you can see every set piece, every throw in, they're trying to get the ball back in play as quickly as possible. They want to maintain this high energy in this second half in the hope that it leads to something. Manchester United have defended well so far.
Garnacho finds Enzo Fernandez, left of the D, can't shoot though, he's closed down. Cole Palmer an option, his offload, back to Caicedo, now Fofana. They're pushing really hard up the field, Chelsea as a team. Neto, right hand side, lays it back to Gusto, free shot in, free cross in. Cole Palmer tried to open his body left footed, too much on it really, wide of the post. Goal kick Manchester United.
Decent effort, isn't it? It's a smart one from Cole Palmer, just steps away from the back line, which is pretty straight from Manchester United. That just creates some space for him, just tries to flick it towards goal, but almost gets too much on it in the end. He wanted to get less contact so it would go further towards his left hand side. It's off target again from Chelsea. The only shot on target for Manchester United remains that goal.
Cucurella gets to a ball ahead of Bruno Fernandes. Chelsea on the front foot again. Neto in a very central position, just outside the D. Clips it left edge of the area to Garnacho, who's able to bring it down. He's one-on-one with Dalot at the moment, but the pass is backwards to Caicedo, Hato rather, and Chelsea start again. Enzo Fernandez looks for the runner, Garnacho, Mainu across, and he's got the possession. He's trying to get the ball clear. In fact, Manchester United trying to play the way out, and in the end, perhaps trying to play the way a little bit too much, eventually in the direction of Šeško, but Caicedo beats him to the ball. Chelsea have possession back. 63 minutes ticking over at Stamford Bridge. It remains Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. But the momentum at the moment, I guess as it was for a lot of the first half, is with Chelsea. Clear-cut chances, not so obvious for Chelsea, but they have been denied by a shot that hit the underside of the crossbar. Palmer's just put a volley wide. Manchester United haven't offered much in response. Certainly not much in terms of going 2-0 up. Can they weather the storm? Palmer, 25 yards out, onto his left foot, cross charged down by Cunha. That was a little bit nonchalant from Cole Palmer. Now Manchester United break. Šeško the option. He's one-on-one with Caicedo. Comes inside Caicedo. Now he's got options into the D, and then this time when he should have shot, it took a deflection, and Sanchez wasn't sure. A diving stop to his left has put it round the post, and it will be a corner to Manchester United. Just when I thought the space opened up for Bruno Fernandes, he tried to pass it to Cunha this time, but the deflection nearly got him a goal.
Oh, the team in blue just parted like the Red Sea there, Rob, didn't they? There was just a massive hole at the back, and Sesko, as he goes round his man, it just seems like there's an age for Chelsea players to get back. It falls to Fernandes. He tries to smartly flick it round the corner, which would have been a really good pass, had it reached its intended target, because there's two steaming in, Casemiro and Cunha, and a deflection means that it needs to be saved, as you say, from Rob Sanchez, who's luckily on hand for Chelsea to keep it at 1-0.
Yeah, it wasn't travelling particularly quickly, but because of the intentions of Fernandes, Sanchez was over to the right-hand post as he defends it, and of course the deflection is going inside the left-hand post, so a good save from Sanchez. Would have been real fortunate for Manchester United. They've got a corner out of it, but Mbumu's delivery is cleared away near post. Mazraoui tries to keep it alive. Neto tries to clear. Mazraoui eventually finds Mbumu again, who's trying to take on Cole Palmer. Gets to the byline, but his cross is low, easily intercepted. For a moment there's a bit of hesitancy from Hato, and now they're under a little bit of pressure, Chelsea. That's a good pass to Hato, who'd made the run. Worked that fairly well. Enzo Fernandez switches play to Neto, right hand side. Maybe a little bit of momentum's lost, but Cucurella is in all sorts of space. Unfortunately for Neto, he can't quite find his teammate before Mazraoui clears, but the clearance only goes to Garnacho, who spins away from Mbeumo into the box. Neto with a shot, took a deflection wide of the post, corner Chelsea.
Bryan Mbeumo, clearly similarly to the game at Old Trafford against Leeds United, has sort of been told, don't worry about tracking back too much, that's not your priority, stay up. But that's having a real detrimental effect for Manchester United, because it's Chelsea all over them on that left-hand side, albeit not exactly been fruitless just yet.
They've taken the corner short, and just a threaded pass from Enzo Fernandez to Cucurella. Bruno Fernandes gets the block in. It's another corner to Chelsea, and again they take it short. Enzo Fernandez to Cole Palmer. First time cross from Enzo Fernandez towards the far post. It's bouncing around. Fofana thinks he could have had an effort towards goal. The referee's looking at something as it's hacked away downfield, presumably having a word with VAR about something. I don't know whether they thought it was a handball. Chelsea, of course, on the attack once again. Neto cutting inside Cunha, then checks back to his outside. He's allowed to get it onto his left foot. Crosses towards the far post. Oh, they've hit the woodwork again at the far post. Enzo Fernandez is appealing for a penalty again. Referee had his whistle in his mouth, but now Mbeumo is bringing it clear. I don't know if that's going to come back. That's the second time they've hit the underside of the crossbar. Chelsea. Cunha to Bruno Fernandes. Luke Shaw halfway inside the Chelsea half, and then Luke Shaw slows it right down, going back to Kobbie Mainoo on the halfway line. Manchester United just getting a breath back.
It's pretty much the exact same spot that Delap hit, didn't he, quite a while ago now for Chelsea in this second half. Just comes off that underside and bounces away. And Manchester United might be counting themselves lucky in this one. Still 1 goal to the good. That's twice now that Chelsea have rattled the woodwork.
Maino offloads to Sesko. Might have been caught. Referee plays the advantage because Bruno Fernandes has it with Cunha going down the left channel. Fernandes crosses towards the far post. Cucurella heads away. And now it's picked up by Garnacho. All of a sudden the game's got a little bit stretched. Garnacho runs into Casemiro on the halfway line, and it's a ball-winning challenge from the Brazilian. Feeding it back out to the right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes and Bamo. They've slowed it down to walking pace at the moment. Manchester United, only Sesko's in an advanced position. Cunha is lurking, but maybe just to get their breath back, take a little bit of sting out of the game. Manchester United recycle it back to the halfway line. We haven't had a chance to see the ball strike the underside of the crossbar. That's loose from Aiden Heaven, looking from Cunha, for Cunha, I believe, and that's going to run through to Robert Sanchez. Chelsea have possession back. We still haven't seen a replay, but we have passed the 3/4 point. Chelsea trailing by a 1-0, but they've hit the woodwork twice in the second half. Manchester United hanging on a little bit at the moment. Here's Tom.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, by all accounts from those inside Stamford Bridge, closer to the action than we are on this off-tube independent studio-based commentary. It deflects off Nasir Mazraoui, apparently, before coming off the crossbar. Here is a replay now. Ball comes in. I think Fofana maybe gets a slight touch, but there's a definite contact from Mazraoui. May even hit the hand of Fofana in there. Would it have counted had it gone in? Would have been interesting to see. Here come Chelsea though. Hato just over halfway. Ball out towards the left-hand side. Oh, he's done brilliantly there to beat 1 and 2. Plays the lap through, although quickly closed down by Dello, and he's won the ball back. Now he finds Casemiro. 70th minute of the game. Casemiro gives it away to Enzo Fernandez. Now here's Alejandro Garnacho. He beats a couple inside the area. Can he beat Mazraoui? Ball across the face of goal, away from Luke Shaw. There's a real energy now about the home side at Stamford Bridge. The home crowd clearly, visibly getting behind their team. Their tails are up. They just need that equaliser. Here's Gusto, about 40 yards from goal, stops the ball dead. Now here's Palmer. Palmer has a look back for Gusto, can't find him, moves infield instead to Wesley Fofana, chops it one way then the other. Palmer again asks the question of where are his teammates. There is Gusto, Delap on the edge, heavy touch. Cucurella keeps it alive. He's fouled by Mazraoui. That'll be a Chelsea free kick. It's 0-1 to Manchester United with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're under pressure, and they're not pressing the ball carrier, and then they're playing catch-up when somebody finds a pocket of space. I mean, there were plenty of finding a little pocket of space. I think Manchester United are defending their 18-yard box rather than anything else. He's a little bit unlucky, Mazraoui, because I think Delap is trying to control the ball. It kind of gets away from him, and it's not the attacking leg, the foot going towards the ball that caught Cucurella. It's the standing leg, because Cucurella's momentum takes him into that standing leg. And it's another opportunity a little bit further out. Enzo Fernandez had a free kick in a similar kind of area. He didn't get it above the wall. I think Cole Palmer has said, I'm going to take this one. Yeah,
it's the same pair over it, but will it be a different taker? Again, it's a 6-man wall for Manchester United, and again, Bruno Fernandes not far from it to almost make a 7th. It will be Cole Palmer to hit it again. It hits the wall. The follow-up as well strikes a Manchester United body. Chelsea keep it alive though as Enzo Fernandez finds Pedro Neto back in field to Malo Gusto. 71 minutes played, still Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Moses Caicedo out towards the right hand side for Neto. Cucurella still down on the edge of the box. He's now back to his feet as Enzo Fernandez has it back round to Pedro Neto inside the area. Shot deflected, up, over, out for a corner.
Backs to the wall for Manchester United at the moment. In that particular instance, I thought they were chasing the ball. It was well worked by Neto, and he got the shooting opportunity. To his credit, Kobbie Mainoo got back and got the block in over the bar, but at the moment the momentum is entirely with Chelsea, and it's corner kick, another opportunity. They haven't really threatened from set pieces, I'd have to say. They haven't really threatened, but they've taken the last two short.
In swinger towards the front post, finds Cucurella, flicks it on edge of the area. Shot comes in from Garnacho, and that's partially away by Casemiro. He chased down and Caicedo gets there in front of Dallo, but good hassling from the Manchester United Portuguese fullback. Caicedo goes backwards to Pedro Neto, shifts it onto his left. Sells a dummy to Kobbie Mainoo, finds Gusto behind him. Ball looping into the area, back post. Fofana wins the header up into the air, and a comfortable collection for Le Mans under no real pressure. 72.5 minutes gone, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. We saw 3 or 4 replays of the challenge just before the corner was given for that challenge by Casemiro on Marc Cucurella, who for me goes down a little bit too easy. No foul.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a toe on a toe. Of course, if it's contact, that'll be the argument for Chelsea. Casemiro's left in a heap as Chelsea attack again.
Garnacho from Fernandes. Still Garnacho hits it. It hits Heaven in the chest. He goes down, straight back up. United partially away. Here's Sesko near halfway. Cucurella, though, steals it off his toe, supported by Hato. Touches it off Sesko and out for a Chelsea throw. And again, the intent to go forward is there from Chelsea, who try and take the throw, but the referee Mike Oliver has deemed it too far away from where the ball actually left the field of play. 73 minutes gone, still 0-1.
I think you'd have to, if you're Michael Carrick, you'd have to make a change. They've sort of got back into very deep situations, and they're basically protecting their 18-yard box. There isn't an out ball, they're far too deep. And would you be better served by bringing on somebody for Cunha, for example, who is A's on a yellow card? He's too deep to be effective. Manchester United are clearly defending their 18-yard box. Maybe some fresh legs somewhere. Yeah,
just the one change for either side. So really, in total, it was Estevao off for Garnacho in the first half. That was, of course, a forced change for Liam Rosinha due to the Brazilian's potential hamstring injury. Here's Gusto, tries to get round Heaven. Supported now by Cunha back there defending, who's gone down wanting a free kick. Nothing doing, says the referee, nor does his official on this near side. Heaven with Maynard between themselves, then cleared by the latter. Only as far as Fofana, who wins the header. Heaven underneath it, sends it back from whence it came. Once again, it's all Chelsea at the minute. Momentum certainly swinging in their favour as we approach the final quarter of an hour at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. You're listening to Off Tube Independent Studio-based commentary, and the goal in the first half from Manchester United's Matheus Cunha is the only thing to separate the two sides at the moment. It's also Manchester United's only shot on target. Chelsea have had 18 and only 3 on target, albeit they have hit the bar twice. They're in possession inside their own half. Caicedo forced backwards by Sesko to Sanchez on the edge of his area. Now Fofana under pressure from Mbeumo finds Gusto. Gusto in that right back slot goes backwards to Robert Sanchez. Forward to Caicedo, who's tried his best to pull the strings this evening, but it has been a resilient backline for Manchester United thus far. Here's Fofana, still inside his own half. From his right to his left now is Caicedo. Here's Hato, just over halfway. No real press from Fernandes, nor Sesko, nor Mbeumo. As Moses Caicedo has it once again in the centre circle. Fofana, who seems to have shrugged off that rib injury from the first half, that collision with his own goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. Here's Hato to Garnacho, around the corner to Cucurella, is a heavy one. Chelsea have done well to keep possession though. Manchester United not too intent on pressing for the ball back. Fofana, Enzo Fernandez, Fofana once more. Fires it forward into the corner on the right hand side for Gusto to chase. He gets there, ball into the area first time, across the face of goal, hits Cucurella, falls for Garnacho, overhead kick. Cucurella follows up with one of his own, but he's made contact with a Manchester United man. That will be a free kick to the Red Devils. Cucurella pleads his innocence. 76 minutes gone, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Yeah, Mazraoui, I mean, there's a potential he's handballed it, but he's also possibly protecting his head from a high boot. It's one of those. Chelsea, of course, are arguing the handball. But I mean, his foot's up there, and looking at a replay. I mean, he's not been hit in the head by the boot, but it hasn't hit his arm either. But it's all one-way traffic at the moment. I mean, Manchester United aren't stopping anything. If I'm Marc Cucurella, I'd be a little bit frustrated that the ball hasn't come to me a little bit more, because nobody's tracking his runs. And I just think they've been a bit too laboured in possession at times, Chelsea, because Cucurella is almost the second striker. That last attack, Gusto is getting forward down the right-hand side, so they're really pushing the full-backs on, and they haven't quite made best use of it. They might argue they've been unlucky because they hit the woodwork, and Manchester United just can't stem the attacks. I mean, they're not preventing the cross, they're not marking the runners. Chelsea, you would think, have got enough time to turn this game around. 77 minutes have been played. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Still no changes for the visitors, and none since the Estevao injury for Chelsea either. Here goes Bruno Fernandes from Kobe Mainoo over towards Sk, tries to head it back to Mainoo, but it gets too much on it and gives possession to the host, although they've lost it. Here's Bruno Fernandes on halfway. Kobe Mainoo just inside his own half, just puts a foot on the ball and slows things down, as he has done at times this evening. Backwards to Luke Shaw. Infield to Aidan Heaven. 78 minutes on the clock. Of course, more Premier League action this weekend. 4 games tomorrow. Aston Villa hosting Sunderland. The Merseyside derby as Everton host Liverpool. Nottingham Forest hosting Burnley in a relegation 6-pointer. And of course the big one at the top of the Premier League table, Manchester City versus Arsenal, second versus first. And of course a game on Monday as well, Crystal Palace against West Ham, another interesting one as the bottom of the Premier League table is concerned. You can catch all of those games on this service. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1 in our game though. Out towards Garnacho on the far side, tries to give it to Cucurella, shows too much to Mbeumo, picked off now as Casemiro brings it forward. That's a good ball through the channel to Bruno Fernandes, and an equally one as well for Brian Mbeumo. 2v2, Manchester United in possession. Here's Mbeumo, tries to cut in, Gerald Hatto tackles well. Bruno Fernandes on the follow-up can't make it stick. That's brilliant defending.
Fantastic. He's a one-on-one situation there, but he just bided his time. Maybe Mbeumo didn't do enough with the ball to get it away from Hatto, but then he's blocked the second attempt as well. And Chelsea straight back on the front foot.
Yeah, into the final third is Neto. Overlapping run from Gusto, doesn't use him. Neto right, then left, then back right. Now here is Gusto byline. First time into the area, away from Casemiro. Only as far though as Neto, who gets the rub of the green in terms of where the deflected effort fell to. Here is Pedro Neto. 10 minutes to go in normal time. Caicedo to Cucurella. To Garnacho, far side on the left. Ball into the area. Away though from Dallo. Caicedo underneath it. Fernandes puts on the pressure as it's swept away towards this right hand side for Malo Gusto. Laboured attack now for Chelsea, who you feel have to make changes. Still going though with the 10 that started the second half. Ball into the area. There's a foul there, is it? On Heaven. Referee says no. Headed away by Manchester United. And out for a throw-in on the right hand side. Heaven's gone down and stayed down. There's another man down as well for Manchester United. Surely we'll see some changes soon, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hayden Evans is a little bit unfortunate to not get a free kick there, because it's a challenge where it's a genuine challenge for the ball, but Hayden Heaven is stooping to head the ball away, and then he gets a knee in the back. It's not overly dangerous, no, but we've seen that free kick given in the game. Obviously, Manchester United might be time wasting with the second change. Might have been Cunha that went down. Into the final 10 minutes, if it was Cunha who's back on his feet, he's got a smile on his face. I think he is going off. Indeed he is. Mason Mount is coming on in his place. I mean, it's not been his game in many ways because Manchester United have been defending so long, but of course he scored a goal that so far has made the difference. But Chelsea have got 10 minutes. There's going to be stoppage time. I think United have got to be a little bit more progressive, because if they're just going to try and sit back and defend, you think Chelsea are going to get at least one chance. They've hit the woodwork 3 times in the game, and of course Enzo Fernandez has missed a sitter. I think they've got to offer an outlet, otherwise they're going to be under severe pressure. Yeah,
changes coming for both sides, by the way. Looks like a double change for both teams. Amad Diallo has come on for Benjamin Sesko. Mason Mount has replaced Mateus Cunha. So almost like for like, maybe slightly more defensive. At least there's some fresh legs on for the visitors. For Chelsea, Gusto's come off, as has Fofana, Chempong and Chalobah on. So 2 defenders off, 2 defenders on. Ball over the top towards the left-hand side for Chelsea. Garnacho's got there on the byline. Back to Cucurella. First time into the area. The heads go up. It's away from goal by Luke Shaw. Bruno Fernandes flicks it into the air. Mason Mount with his first touch. Got his back to goal. Bruno Fernandes. That's a good ball forward to Casemiro. That's just opened Chelsea up ever so slightly. He's been chased by Cole Palmer. A touch on the ball there from Palmer as it falls to Amad Diallo. He goes backwards to Mazraoui. And Manchester United will be in safe possession inside their own half. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. I'm not quite sure what to make of the Chelsea changes, Rob.
Yeah, it's a strange one in many ways, but I mean, there's a lot of good things to like about Chelsea. But yeah, obviously he's just mixed it up. Looks like they might be going to a back three potentially. Manchester United are on the counter. They haven't been attacking very long in the second half, but Dallas popped up left channel, cross towards the near post. It's beyond Mbemo. Mason Mount's trying to make it happen, but he can't. He's beaten to it. Casado with more good defending, and now Chelsea counter. Hato again starting it off.
Yeah, ball out towards the left-hand side. Here's Garnacho. Bearing down on Mazraoui, goes towards the left-hand side. Challenge comes in, well timed from the Moroccan international. It's a brilliant piece of defending initiative from Mazraoui as Garnacho was just getting up ahead of steam. 83 minutes on the clock and out for a goal kick as well via the double deflection. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1.
Yeah, it's always risky when you go to ground to make the challenge and you've got to win the ball, but he has won the ball. That's excellent defending in a one-on-one situation. And he's a little bit lucky. The deflection could have come back off him. He's on the deck. More frustrations for Chelsea. 7 minutes to go plus stoppage time. It's a bit. I mean, the scoreline says Manchester United have won, winning. But I mean, Chelsea, as we've talked about 3 times, have hit the woodwork. I still think that Fernandes chance is the best one they've had all game. That came a long time ago. They're asking lots of questions, but obviously not finding answers that they like. Delap, I might have replaced or at least given him support through the middle. Cucurella's been providing much of that support, but why not get João Pedro on?
Yeah, it must be a really frustrating one for Chelsea fans. The only change that they've made up until those most recent double change was a forced one. They're 1-0 down at home, and they brought on 2 defenders for 2 defenders. It's interesting, to say the least, from Liam Rosenior, but will it bear fruit? We'll wait and see. We've got about 6 minutes of normal time remaining. Here's Garnacho, left-hand side, chops back onto his right. Was looking for Caicedo on the edge. Wasn't able to find him. Goes to Enzo Fernandez instead, who does find Moses Caicedo, who hits one from distance, and it's whiskers wide of Lemon's right-hand post. Comes off the advertising hoarding, much to the frustration of Moses Caicedo and the relief of Manchester United. It remains at 0-1. Does it hit the post again, Rob?
I think it hits the steward behind the post. He stood pretty much on the net, or sat on the net, and it's hit his back. I mean, he scored a screamer before against Manchester United, and that was a matter of inches away from bettering the previous one. But I mean, if you're the defending side, 1-0 up, just trying to defend what you've got, I think you would generally be quite happy that the attacking team with the momentum is shooting from that kind of range. But it wasn't that far from going in.
Cucurella tries to get something going down the left-hand side, but concedes a throw in doing so. So Manchester United will regain possession on the far right. 85 minutes on the clock. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Here's Kobbie Mainoo. He's been a safe pair of feet in the centre of the park this evening. Luke Shaw backwards to Lamens. He puts a foot on the ball, slows things down, then he'll swing his right boot at the ball over towards the right hand side where Bremo tries to take it down on his chest. It's picked away from him though by Chempong, who's just come off the bench for Liam Rosenior. He strides forward on the right hand side, finds Pedro Neto inside opposition territory, comes back to the safety of the home half, and now here's Enzo Fernandez forward to Cole Palmer. Now Moses Caicedo forward towards the right hand side for Neto. Mason Mount's going to have to try and get back as the ball comes in towards Garnacho, edge of the area for Palmer. 1 touch, 2 touch, then the shot that's blocked by Amad Diallo. Poor touch from Trevor Chalobah, flicked away by Kobbie Mainoo. Amad Diallo will give chase under pressure from 3 in blue, and he's nearly got there as well. He's eventually shrugged off. Referee put his whistle to his mouth for a foul earlier on in the move. 86.5 minutes gone. Enzo Fernandez is down off the field of play. Seems to be in some real discomfort. Not quite sure what has led to this particular issue for the Argentine.
Well, again, it's an attacking situation. How much space does Neto want? I mean, they're all defenders back there for Manchester United, but they haven't stopped the pass and they haven't stopped the cross. I think there was a coming together in the middle. Obviously, Enzo Fernandez was one of the people challenging for the ball, as was Casemiro. And in fact, he's behind Casemiro. It looks like he's got a problem because he himself has made the motion for a substitution. I don't know whether it's cramp because he was stretching that left calf as well. It looks like Brian Mbemo is going off full Manchester United. Again, it's one of those games where it's not been his forte. He's put it in his shift, as have all the United players, but they'd rather have more possession. They haven't. Maybe Xerxes brought on to defend a few set pieces. Obviously, Enzo Fernandez is going off as well. But time is running out. Will there be another last chance? Lavia is hardly the most attacking change that they could have made for Enzo Fernandez. They're only 1-0 down, but I mean, we're into the final 3 minutes.
Yeah, they've maintained their system above all else, haven't they? Liam Rossigna and his group of coaches on the bench. 87.5 gone. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. As Rob mentioned, just to bring you up to speed to confirm, Joshua Xerxes on for Brian Mbeumo. He seemed to be a little bit fatigued on his way to the dugout. And the latest Chelsea change is a force when Enzo Fernandez is off. And on comes Romeo Lavia in his place. Here's Pedro Neto forward to Palmer. Lovely take on the half turn. What can he do though? Edge of the area, out towards the left hand side for Garnacho. Palmer goes on the overlap, doesn't come back to him though. It's cleared away by Amad Diallo instead, and it's picked up by Joshua Xerxes. He can't make it stick initially, gets the rub of the green as the bounce goes over the head of Lavia, and then Joshua Xerxes deemed to have been fouled. That will be a free kick to Manchester United. That's exactly what they want at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to win any friends from Garnacho. They had Manchester United under a bit of pressure, and he tried a back heel. Of course, if it comes off, it looks fantastic. But when it doesn't and you're chasing the game in the final minutes, you just think that's a little bit of a waste, because they had numbers in the box. It was a poor bit of play. Xerxes got a bit lucky with the bounce and a slight misjudgment. But yeah, it's exactly what Manchester United wanted, because they're not doing very much attacking. They need a bit of the ball, even if it's just to knock it around amongst their defenders. They're trying to play some football in the centre circle. Casemiro spreads the play.
Out towards the far right hand side. Here's Amad Diallo bearing down on Marc Cucurella. Tries to find Xerxes on the edge. It's snuffed out loud by Chalobah. That's good from him to go through the legs of Bruno Fernandes. Now it opens up for Palmer on the right hand side. A minute remaining in normal time. Still 0-1. Manchester United leading in a game which, if they pick up all 3 points, will see them 10 points above tonight's opponents. Here's Garnacho on the far left hand side, tries to chop it back to Lavia. That's poor from him, gives possession away. Mason Mount finds Bruno Fernandes. He goes down under a challenge. That'll be a free kick, and it might just be all she wrote for Liam Rossigna and his Chelsea side this evening. They have not been at the races, but you have to credit Manchester United's brilliant defensive solidity. It's been an arduous endeavour from tonight's visitors, and the game is into the closing stages of at least of normal time. Yeah,
I mean, you'd have to say, given that they haven't had much of the ball and they've been under a lot of pressure, a rather sort of makeshift centre-back pair of Aiden Heaven and Mazraoui have done fantastically well. I mean, I think the fullbacks, probably because there's been no support from them, have been overlapped, and so there's plenty of crossing into the box, and they haven't. I know they've hit the woodwork 3 times, but bearing in mind Heaven and Mazraoui are not the usual centre-back partnership. I think they've done really well. From a Chelsea perspective, I know it's been that sort of season. Cole Palmer's just been a little bit flat. Given these sort of goal scoring and goal involvement exploits, you'd expect a little bit more. He's kind of had the freedom given how much possession Chelsea have had. I don't think he's quite done enough.
Chelsea potentially on their way to 4 Premier League defeats in a row without scoring. They have dominated the game, but they are behind, and the fourth official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes added on at the end of the allotted 90. Neto takes it off the toes of Mount, number 7 v number 7, as Lavia tries to bring it away. Bruno Fernandes has fouled him. Surely he'll be booked. Yes, he will. So 18 assists he makes it tonight, but he is in the book, and kicks the ball away, interestingly.
No, I think it's Mount that's volleyed the ball. I think Mount has got the yellow card. I mean, he's running onto it right next to the referee and smashed it. I think Fernandes has got away with just the foul. Mason Mount's got the yellow card for sure.
Mount in the book then, not Bruno Fernandes. Apologies. 2 and a bit minutes to go. Do Chelsea have one more opportunity in them? Do they have one more chance that they can muster? 21 shots, 3 on target though, and hit the woodwork thrice as well. Here's Joshua Chempong back towards halfway for Trevor Chalobah, across to Moses Caicedo. It's all safe at the minute as Chelsea try and carve out one last opportunity. Left, right, left as it comes to Trevor Chalobah. Positive touch in front of him, forward to Palmer to Neto, back over the top to Palmer, in behind, heavy ball, out of play, goal kick. That might just be all she wrote. We've got 2 minutes remaining, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. But the hosts do not look at it, as some of the fans inside Stamford Bridge seemingly have seen enough. There's not a mass exodus, but a slight departure of some of the home fans.
It's quite surprising we've only had 3 yellow cards as well. I mean, bearing in mind Cunha's was for a poor touch, so it's not as if he's putting himself about. And Mason Mount, in stoppage time, is Manchester United's second. Hatto got 1 in the first half, but only 3 yellow cards in a game of this magnitude. I think that gives the impression, in a way, of how the game's gone. Chelsea have had all the ball, and Manchester United have been defending their 18-yard box, and there haven't really been that many sort of foul situations. It's kind of attack versus defence.
Ball with Achempong, rides one challenge. Hatto forward to Achempong once more. Flicked into the air by Mount. He'll give chase, but Neto gets there first. Comes off the chest of Mason Mount. And referee has blown his whistle. Potentially handball there. And a potential moment for Chelsea to draw level late on. We're into the final minute of the 4 added on. And Chelsea with a free kick on the byline. A very dangerous crossing opportunity. He's right on the byline as well, isn't it? Pedro Neto's going to cross to take it. They defend this, Rob. They've picked up 3 points.
Yeah, you'd think into the final minute. I mean, a point isn't the worst result, but of course, this late stage, they don't want to concede now. Plenty of physical presence, got to be good delivery. There's a couple of players who've come across to Neto to work out where he's going to put it, where they can attack. Chelsea, last chance potentially. Very good position. I think Neto's probably going to hit the target far post, maybe go for goal, maybe hope for a deflection, but he's got to do that.
Pedro Neto dinked one in towards the backstick, headed away by Casemiro. Heavy touch on the far post from Achempong. Just keep it alive though. He has to swing it back in. Garnacho under pressure from Diallo, beats him, beats Mainu, goes down. All eyes towards the referee. Free kick, Kobe Mainu, yellow card, and another opportunity from this set piece dead ball situation for Chelsea to find an equaliser late on. Up comes Robert Sanchez from the back. We've played the 4 minutes that have been awarded as stoppage time. So we are in added time, as Chelsea prepare surely the last action of the game. Ball in from Neto towards the far post. The heads go up. It's up into the air, then away from Mount. Drops on the edge of the area where Neto keeps alive. Garnacho into the box. That's cleared. Bruno Fernandes on the end of it, on the edge of the area. Amad Diallo will try and get there, but he doesn't need to because the referee has blown his whistle to signify the end of the game at Stamford Bridge. Not a vintage performance from Michael Carrick's Manchester United, but grit and determination to get over the line for all 3 points. They led just before half-time through Mateus Cunha, and they hung on to that lead to get all 3 points. Full-time, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio